Thanks for checking out this quick video. Now, I just want to take a minute and give you an additional lesson on our Google Keyword Connector method. This is honestly one of our strongest points because this saves students so much time when it comes to finding scholarships. But more importantly, it saves them an endless amount of frustration. Now, one of the biggest reasons that students quit going through the scholarship process is because they get overwhelmed or they have zero luck in finding anything that they're truly eligible for. Now, this Google Keyword Connector method completely solves all of those issues. Now, I did show you a couple examples of where people that are in the scholarship system course are already raving about the amounts of time and frustration that we have saved them. So what better way to show you than to teach you one of our methods? Now, I did go over this briefly in the webinar, but I want to give you a little bit more of an in-depth explanation right now. So with the Google Keyword Connector method, what we talked about is how you and your student, your child, come up with terms that you think your child would be eligible for scholarships. So for example, if your child is interested in maybe graphic design, so maybe they're thinking about going into graphic design in college, a lot of people just automatically assume looking up scholarships for graphic design majors. So maybe they'll go to Google, they'll type in scholarships and go through those and try and filter for the major. Or some people, they get a little bit closer to what they're supposed to do and they'll type in scholarships for graphic design majors, which is pretty good. But imagine if you went ahead and got directly to the source of those scholarships. So rather than going through all of these search engines and thinking, well, let's start generic and kind of dwindle down, why not search directly for those sources? Now, the way that you can do this, and in the scholarship system, we give you and your child a cheat sheet, a grid that you fill out that kind of does this work for you. But what you want to do is think of maybe a company that specializes in graphic design, or maybe a company that benefits from it. So one of the examples I could give you is we have one student that was interested in animation. So graphic design as far as animation. So what I challenged him to think of was, what about some companies in those areas? Now, one is Sony. So Sony has a lot of movies, a lot of pictures, Sony Pictures. So he went ahead and we typed in together scholarships for graphic design Sony, or Sony scholarships. And believe it or not, we went directly to the Sony page rather than going to FastWeb or all these other scholarship search engines. We went directly to Sony and found a link that had scholarships in it. And of course, in the end, we found 3 that he was eligible for. I believe 3. So that is just one example, and I could go on forever. Another example would be a girl that she loves horses. So we typed in scholarships for horse lovers. So again, I don't expect you to come up with all of these off the top of your head. We give you a worksheet, but this is gold. Being able to go directly to the source of the scholarship rather than worrying about going through all the scams and spams out there and the search engines that just overwhelm your child, we show you how to bypass those. So not only will this relieve the stress and the confusion of finding scholarships, but it will make it more efficient and more effective because we're bypassing scams and going directly to legitimate sources. So we go over this in even more depth in the course, and I hope that you're considering joining us. So if you want to join us, don't forget that you do only have until the end of the week. If you choose you don't want to stay with us, all you have to do is reply to this email and say, Jocelyn, it wasn't for us. And I'll go ahead and cancel it before you even get charged the remaining amount. So you'll only have a $1 charge. So I hope that you're considering joining us, and I want to see you and your child in the scholarship system where we're going to go over this strategy in more depth along with tons more that will streamline this process for you and your child and help them secure a debt-free education. Have a good one.